Net capital gains are statutory income under Section 102-5 of the ITAA 97. They are included in taxable income and assessed at the taxpayer's marginal rate. The calculation of the net capital gain is reflected in this simplified formula. Further, there is a 6-step approach to calculating the net capital gain. Consider Fran, who is an individual taxpayer and bought shares in Media Limited for $10,000 2 years ago. Fran had costs of ownership totalling $500 and recently sold the shares for $15,000. CGT event A1 has occurred, being the disposal of a CGT asset. The CGT asset is the shares in Media Limited. A capital gain arises as the capital proceeds of $15,000 are higher than the cost base of $10,500. There are no exceptions or exemptions to consider, and no rollover provisions apply. The capital gain is $4,500, and while there are no capital losses to apply, as an individual taxpayer, Fran is entitled to a 50% CGT discount on the gain, as the shares were held for over 12 months. The net capital gain is therefore $2,250, and this amount is included in Fran's taxable income. Now consider John, who is an individual taxpayer and bought shares in Paper Limited for $10,000 4 years ago. John had costs of ownership totalling $1,000 and recently sold the shares for $8,000. CGT event A1 has occurred, being the disposal of a CGT asset. The CGT asset is the shares in Paper Limited. In this situation, a capital loss arises as the capital proceeds of $8,000 are lower than the reduced cost base of $10,000. Here, we exclude the costs of ownership of $1,000. There are no exceptions or exemptions to consider, and no rollover provisions apply. The capital loss is $2,000, and assuming it is not able to be offset against any capital gains, it can be carried forward as a net capital loss. Therefore, there is no net capital gain in this period. To recap, there are 6 steps in calculating the net capital gain. And net capital gain is included in assessable income because it is statutory income.